there is another thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is another thing that has had to wait until now, which is the tutorial. One of the challenges of making a game like this, of course, is teaching people how to play. And again, you can't teach somebody how to play the game until the game exists. And we don't know until we've played and play tested and messed around with it what the basic rules of the game are. And up until now, we have still been making big, huge, massive changes to the way the game operates. At some point in the process of making a game, you have to put your foot down and say, well, for better or for worse, this is kind of our rule set, because now I need to teach somebody how to do this and walk them through okay, here's how you move your unit. Here's how you attack somebody. Here's what your attack value means. Here's what your defense value means. Blah, blah, blah. You get it all. And so I think we're finally there. I think the game finally makes enough sense that we kind of understand what's going on. We kind of know how it's going to look when it ships. There's still going to be changes and things we're going to adjust, but we've got this huge PAX date looming, and we have to have something to show at PAX. And unless I want to stand over every single person's shoulder and teach them how to play at PAX, we have to have some level of explanation that they can sit down and have the game say, okay, here's how you move your unit, here's how you drag a thing, here's how you fight. So we're building that now. These are never fun to build. These are always a lot of work, and they're always very challenging, because there's always this level of, do they understand this? Do they already know this? And you think, okay, I don't have to teach this. This is obvious. And then somebody plays your game and they're like, I don't like your game because it doesn't do this. And you're like, well, but it does do that. You just don't know how to do it. And okay, now we'll show you how to do it. And then somebody else says, this game sucks. You're holding my hand. Just let me play my game. How come you're making me do all this? And you're right, and they say, okay, we'll have the tutorial that you can turn off. No, you can't have a tutorial that you turn off, because then people will immediately be like, oh, I'm not going to play the tutorial. And then they don't play the tutorial. And when they don't play the tutorial, they get 5 minutes into the game. This is too difficult. I don't know how to play this game. Fuck it. Bye. You turned off the tutorial, asshole. So this whole challenge is something that especially strategy game developers face, because strategy games are by definition more complicated. For a first-person shooter, most people know how to play a first-person shooter. Run around, WSD, shoot, point at things with a mouse, click. It's pretty straightforward to teach somebody a game that they've already played 500 times that's got a couple new things in it. But to teach somebody an entirely new strategy game, you have to start from the very basics. Here's how you drag a unit. Here's what their attack strength is. Here's what their defense is. Here's what happens when two units bang into each other. And for us, because we're a relatively innovative game with our turn-based simultaneousness, we have to teach them the concept of, well, you're not actually moving right now. You're going to move on resolution. Okay, this is what happens first. This is what happens second. This is how we resolve the order of events. There's a lot to learn about our game. And the question is, how do you teach somebody that in a way that's interesting and fun and doesn't make them think, oh, this is way complicated. Fuck this game. You have to make them think it's really easy and draw them in step by step. So this is a challenge I'll be working on with Nelson for the next couple days and putting together a plan. And then we'll all go away. And then hopefully not next week, but the week after next, when the rest of the team comes back and I'm still not here, they'll be working on that. I had hoped to get to that earlier, but the problem is we were constantly changing the game. So it didn't make sense to get to a tutorial while we were still making these massive changes in the game.